So, with that in mind, the water balance targets. What we want to talk about is how do we establish them? So really, the water balance methodology is about a number of things. One is flood protection, because we think that's important. We want to maintain stream flows. We want to replace that lost interflow system. We want to prevent stream erosion. We want to prevent unforeseen impacts. You just saw a bunch. And we want to improve water quality. So the final message here is it starts with a stream and it ends with a stream. I don't really care what's happening on a site. I want that watershed and the stream to work properly. So one of the things is the base flow. We have a base flow release. We think that's important. In a gravel mine area, the base flow release is still there, but the water's never going to get out of it because it's going down through the gravel. Where we find the base flow release important is in areas where the soils are really tight and infiltration is difficult. So what we're doing is we're using the BMPs as a storage device to augment the base flow in the stream, because the water is going to go down through the storm sewer, hit the stream pretty quickly. So what we're doing is we're just augmenting the base flow. And it's not a big discharge, it's a very small discharge, mean annual discharge, so it's quite small. And typically on the West Coast, we're down in the order of 1 liter per second per hectare, something like that. And you can have a slightly bigger, slightly smaller number, but it's going to be in that order. It's not going to be 10, it's not going to be 0.1. So we're striving for something that's reasonable, not huge accuracy. So, and what this does is it replaces we're trying to replace the lost interflow by the base flow release. And this is probably something new that you haven't seen before. The volume target, how do we establish our volume target? Well, we want to retain a certain amount of water, so to make it available to flow out our base flow release, we want to retain a certain amount that will infiltrate into the ground. So we want to make sure we have enough volume available. So the question is, how much volume do we need to do that? Rainfall needs to be stored as it infiltrates, typically. So you need to provide a storage volume for that. And then how we do it is we looked at the volume for interflow storage. We look at how much volume do we need to sustain filtration, and how much water do we want to allow to infiltrate into the ground. Because we don't want to infiltrate everything into the ground. We don't want to cause these mass destruction of retaining walls falling down, pavement lifting. We want to limit what goes into the ground to the natural state, which is somewhere between 10 and 25% of the rainfall gets to saturate aquifer. Not 90%, 10 to 25%. And so we optimize the volume to achieve that target. Now, that also means we have an area target. How much area are we setting aside for actual infiltration to that saturated aquifer? Because these BMPs are typically below the level of your interflow. So they're the ones that are really directly discharging into your aquifers or getting into the aquifers pretty quickly. So we want to limit how big those things are. So huge ones can cause problems like you saw in Langford. If you're in a gravel mine, you don't really have a limit. But in other places, you will have a limit. So we're just recognizing that there is a limit to how big you want to make things. So bigger is not necessarily better. So pause for a second so you can get that sorted in your mind and settled out.